Hey, this is the rarest possible occasion where I actually get to combine, interestingly, two wholly different topics, metaphysics and technology, in a perfect meld and make a brilliant point. This is why sometimes I actually get great ideas by watching stupid stuff on YouTube. I don't know if you've ever heard of this motto. It's one of the attributes of a fool. And it's said of a fool that they know the price of everything, but the value of nothing. And this is, of course, about people that are able to count a lot of things, but they don't know the value of anything. And I found a perfect example. By the way, if you don't know this about me, I used to do fix laptops, and I built computers early in life, but I was also #1 person in the world for tech support on the MacBook Air. I'm a big Apple fan. I would never like Steve Jobs because he was not really a good person. Anyway, I got done seeing a bunch of YouTube reviews where apparently, and they're big YouTubers, and there's several people that had these videos, people with many endless subscribers, and this is not about them. It's about this type of metaphysical ignorance where you can actually count everything and you don't know the value of anything. And it's a perfect example. So apparently all these YouTubers that review computers and laptops and stuff, they were asked by their subscribers to compare the new 2020 MacBook Air. This is the 2018. The new 2020 is hardly any different. Same is true of the new iPad Pro. This is a 2018 iPad Pro, and it's actually decked out with 256 gigs of storage, and this is the keyboard for it. And ultimately, these are about the same size. Anyway, all these YouTubers were asked, which should I get? The new 2020 iPad, which the only real differences between it and this one is LiDAR and a superior camera, but ultimately, they're both, spec'd quite similarly, almost identical really to this 2018 MacBook Air versus this 2018 iPad Pro. The point being, I'm getting to the damn point, is that people wanted to know which should they get because Apple is trying to meld the iPad in as a substitute computer. And with the new 13.4 iOS, you can use a trackpad or a Magic Mouse with the iPad now, including this one. And of course it gives you a better, computer experience if you want to do things. So I could actually sit here with this iPad Pro and take my mouse or a trackpad. I've got both, and I was testing it. So the point being, and this is where the metaphysics comes in, all of these very, very big YouTubers that are both incredibly intelligent and yet at the same time incredibly ignorant, and those are not diametrically opposed, they were going down the specs, this is the Geekbench score, the amount of nits of brightness and the refresh rate, and all of that's true. But all of these YouTubers said that the iPad, because it does have a better color display, and of course you can take the pencil out and draw on it, and you can't do that with, a MacBook Air, obviously not. I mean, that's not an option that you have here, right? I said, well, there's that, and the Geekbench score, they're about the same. Sometimes the new iPad Pro would score better than the MacBook Air, the new 2020 MacBook Air. And all that's true. But this is getting back to the definition of a fool again. Someone that knows the price of everything, but the value of nothing. What these very big YouTubers, in their incredible myopic ignorance, failed to point out in making their conclusions to all their viewers, and this is not about them or insulting the fact that they're not that intelligent, it's about the metaphysics of not understanding something and what it is. They made the recommendation that, since you could use a trackpad now, and, and the Geekbench score is a little better on the iPad Pro, and the color gamut of the display is nicer, then I recommend, they were saying, I recommend the new iPad Pro. What every one of them missed in their ignorance is like 10 million points. Foremostly, even though it's wonderful now that the iPad can use a trackpad or a mouse, it's still a media consumption device. Yeah, even though it's wonderful, you can take the pencil and draw on the screen, and I love using that. And it's, you know, it's a great tool for people that like to draw and sketch and whatnot, animation, so on and so forth. That is a media consumption device, 90%. This is a productivity tool. Yeah. Once you actually take a trackpad, I'm going to list like, you know, a long list of reasons why that's just so completely insane. Once you add a trackpad or a mouse to this, it creates a package way better, way bigger than this is. You see these USB-C ports over here? It's for like plugging in hard drives or solid-state drives. This is a productivity tool. You know, I have the option of partitioning the solid-state drive in this and running Windows if I wanted to, which I don't want to. This is what you would do to do stuff like photo editing, Capture One, or like, well, there's a Lightroom version, Photoshop version for the iPad. And there is, but it only has a small percentage of the features that are real computer application, Lightroom, Photoshop, or Capture One. I mean, I have 10 bazillion applications I can install on this, yeah? The only thing that I can install, as much as I've owned a lot of iPads, the only thing I can install on this iPad is fluff. You know, it's like whipped cream. Yeah, this is meat and potatoes. This is what you take on vacation to watch Netflix, or, you know, Draw, or YouTube. This is a media consumption device. This is whipped cream and strawberries. Everybody loves whipped cream and strawberries, right? This is meat and potatoes. This is what you do to pay the bills, to get crap done. You know, you plug in external hard drives or external solid-state drive. Do 1,000 things with this. Open up Capture One or real full-blown Photoshop. You see, all of these, the point being, and this is where we're talking about taking technology and metaphysics here. The metaphysics of, it's not psychology, it's the ability to count things, but the inability to synthesize spontaneously what something is or is not. There are all these fools with high subscriber counts saying, yeah, you know, there's the iPads, what you want to buy. Because we got a trackpad now, or you could use a mouse and, you know, attach a keyboard. It's like, well, that's great, but I mean, with all that crap attached, it's bigger than this is. This is not a productivity tool. This is, it's frustrating to even try to use this as a productive. I can't have like a bazillion screens open and like drag and drop huge friggin' files. If you had ever tried to upload a video to YouTube, by the way, from your iPad, I've done it quite a lot. It takes like a really long time. This is a smoking fast iPad Pro. I mean, you know, it's not like the cheap end version iPad Pro. It's actually very impressive but it's not a productivity tool. I just found it so shocking, and it's really a perfect example of a type of stupidity. And it's also true of, and people that are super computer geeks, even though I'm a computer geek in my own right, I'm a hardware geek, I always was a hardware geek. It's the same thing that you find in metaphysics, where people don't believe in something that they can't physically feel and touch between their fingers, or they can't count 1, 2. The things that have defined the entire history of humanity are things that nobody can touch or feel, that you can't buy or sell. What are those things? Well, there's a long laundry list of them. Love, fear, hate, hope, desire, on and on. These are the ineffable things that you cannot objectively stick underneath the microscope. You can't hold in your hands. You can't objectively do anything with it. Yet these are the very things that have moved the entire axis of the world. This is the crap that, launched a million ships, that built the pyramids, that, launched us into space. It wasn't numbers and math. That was necessary, of course, for building the machines and correct navigation, but the desire to do stuff, desire itself, love, hope, hate, faith. These are ineffable things that from an existentialist, i.e. a materialist, i.e. an atomist. You see, the point is that all of these atomists were running CPU clock tests, okay, between the iPad Pro and the MacBook, the new MacBook Air. And they were measuring gamut display. This has got a little bit better spectrum of gamut display. You get a better, and also too, it was the display, and of course there's the pencil experience for drawing on it, and it is really fast. But this I would rather sandpaper my crotch and stick my head in a bucket of piranhas than try to even dare to think to be productive with this effing yet impressive iPad than I would be to use even an older MacBook Air than this. Like the 5-year older version of of the MacBook Air is 1,000 times more useful as an effing productivity tool, than this very beautiful and sexy, iPad Pro. I wouldn't even dream of trying to, be productive with this effing tool. It's not a tool, it's a media consumption device. So I didn't know whether to laugh or cry, or just, I really was just laughing so hard. And these people did every sort of Geekbench test between the new MacBook Air and the new iPad Pro 13-inch. But they still missed the entire point. These are the people that can count everything, but they don't know the value of anything. There are ineffable qualities, that if you're trying to make money or get crap done, or like edit a photo as a great example, or write a book. It's like, well, you could write a book on an iPad. Yeah, but would you want to? I can also travel to Florida by crawling on my hands and knees. Would you want to? I encounter these people all the time, and it's just like the perfect metaphysical example of abject, atomistic stupidity that I've ever run across in like a long time. I actually am glad that I watched, because I wanted to watch some big YouTubers talk about the new iPad Pro. I knew all the differences, but maybe there's some like minor points in there. But they all had videos, which one should you get, the new iPad Pro or the new MacBook Air? And they all said that the new iPad Pro. And it's just wrong. If you're like a goof watching Netflix in your pajamas, scratching your butt and eating Fritos, then yeah, the iPad Pro is it's not a productivity tool. I rest my case. Human stupidity is a broad spectrum creature. Thank you for watching.